Alright, Oval fans, sorry I'm late, but oh well. This is the review for Season 2, Episode 15, entitled Don't Move. 8 out of 10, I agree with what everybody was telling me, that the Oval definitely was far better than Sisters was last week. This episode did a lot of great work in regards to setting up different things for upcoming plots. The preview for tonight's episode, Familiar Faces, definitely looks good as well. And you know, if you're a Ruthless fan, then we're getting a little bit more ruthless as the series goes, or as this season goes on, excuse me. But without further ado, let's just jump right into this. So we pick up where we left off at the drone strike. Bobby and Max are underneath some rubble. You know, Bobby's talking about how he feels injured because he's still recovering from being shot up and everything. So, you know, conveniently, they're covered with just enough rubble where it's like, you know, like Max said, look, it was a drone strike. We need to keep quiet. We need to not move because obviously the drone's going to fly by to see if they can detect any kind of movement and whatnot. That way they can know whether or not the drone strike was a success and both targets were eliminated. So I gotta admit, I don't hate Bobby, but I do feel like it's so annoying. He's almost like Andy from Sisters, where he's an intelligent guy. I mean, if you look at the Bobby from season 1, this dude was, you know, calm, cool, collected. He knew how to move. He knew what to do. But he's acting like, you know, a whipped novice because of how he's been interacting with Lily. Because I feel like in some ways him and Max played off each other well because of their similar training, if you will. The fact that, you know, while Bobby might be more skilled in one area, Max makes up for it in his intel. It's almost as if they fit together like a puzzle piece, basically, where one has a missing piece, the other has the know-how to fill in that gap. So you could argue that these two working together in sync would definitely make for a dangerous combo. But as Max constantly and rightfully calls out, Bobby's mentality has been infiltrated due to his sexual life with Lily. But in any case, the funniest part of this damn scene, Kyle's in his apartment. He's watching the drone strike from his laptop. He got music blasting, singing, "I got you, I got you." He takes his tie off. He just dances with it between. He just like strings it. He basically flosses between his legs with it, like Mr. Krabs did when he got his $1 millionth dollar. And you know, he's just having a ball. So then the theme music comes on and goes off, and Max is still worried about the whole Bobby situation. And you know, he's like, wait a minute, you said you went to see Lily, nothing happened, she didn't come back with you, and then all of a sudden the place gets bombed. And then Bobby's still like, I don't even know if Bobby's able to really convince himself that Lily had nothing to do with it. But to be fair, he can't be sure just yet. So Max tells him, get your ass up. So we, you know, I actually got a place. I know a place we can go. I know a place. I'll take you there. So then we go over to the Ruthless scene. Basically, you know, the biggest takeaways from this is the fact that Daikon refers to Ruth as Elder Ruth. So Ruth is still an elder, like she is currently in season 2 of Ruthless. The highest is still at the compound, even though it would be slightly interesting, let's say there was a new highest, but we know that isn't the case. I think it's fair to assume that if the highest was ever quote-unquote replaced, it would probably be by Daikon or Andrew, but it depends on certain factors. But in any case, we can assume the highest, Tyrone, is still the highest. Basically, you know, Barry is still rowdy, even though Ruth told him to calm down. He actually does calm down for a second, like, look, I don't know where we are. You can blindfold me and send me back, but just give me my daughter and we'll be good. That'll be it. I'll leave y'all alone. But, you know, Daikon is like, well, you must be thirsty. Have a drink. And I'm thinking, oh, Lord, we saw what happened when Brian and the sheriff got there, especially when Lynn got there. But why don't you go see the highest? And basically, hey, let's teach you about the Raku way. He's like, man, I just want to get my daughter and get the hell out of here. And he's basically causing a scene. And Ruth knocks him out, and, you know, Daikon calls for him to be brought to a trailer. So we don't know what's going to happen to Barry. I doubt he's going to die because, as I said before, he was on site for season 3 filming. So Barry, I don't know when he's getting out of the compound, but he's still alive. All right, so Dale's sleeping in his truck because remember he's homeless now, and Kyle wakes him up pretending to be a cop, like, you can't be parked and sleep here, sir. And you know the act goes on for a little while because you know Dale is at attention. He's trying not to make eye contact. Are you been drinking, sir? No, sir. Get out of the truck. And when he gets out of the truck, he realizes that it's Kyle. And I have to say yet again, one of the biggest signs that shit's going to go down on Ruthless, that is, because Dale, he must be going through it during the back half of season 2. Because he says, look, I've been through it. The stuff I've been through in the past few months, killing you and going to prison will be a happy place compared to everything. So keep messing with me and I'll take you out. And then he gets in his truck and drives away. And Kyle's like, man, why am I so turned on by this? But this makes me very curious to know what exactly pushes Dale to leave, Rockwell, Virginia, to go to DC. Because remember, he is on Ruthless, and there was that one member who kept, badgering him to go to the compound. So we know Dale's been through it in regards to his homosexuality being looked down upon in his hometown. But I'm guessing something really went down with the Rakadushi that made him get the hell out of there. So that's what I'm thinking. All right, so we go over to Richard and Nancy. Richard is concerned. This is actually the next morning. He's actually leaving for work a few hours early. He's calling Barry. He's getting no response. Nancy's concerned, obviously, but Richard's still cold to her. He's like, well, obviously he didn't come home. His bed's still made up. And, he's just not hearing what Nancy has to say. And then, he leaves, and Nancy's like, look, don't worry. I'm still going to keep loving you. So we go over to Priscilla looking through a bunch of paperwork on the bed, and Sam comes in, basically to get some things, and she's like, look, everything you have I threw downstairs. But he actually goes over to the fireplace, opens the compartment to get more stuff out, and she's like, oh, okay, well, make sure you got all your crap this time. And he basically says, look, did you take $25,000 out of my account? I got checks to keep bouncing. Oh, I'm going to take it all. Fine, okay. So essentially, not much to say about this scene aside from the fact that Priscilla is still treating Sam like crap. And I'm just wondering to myself the entire time, when exactly is Priscilla going to hand over that folder, that package, I should say, that Diane gave to her? Because didn't she say, if you don't hear from me by like 4 or 5 o'clock, then give this to Sam immediately? And we know Diane's dead, so I don't really know what's going on there. But he goes downstairs, and he gets a call from Victoria to come over to the White House for another run. And he said he'll be there in like about 45 minutes. And she walks out of the bathroom, and Hunter's like, why the hell are you so happy? What, your daughter's in some sort of internment camp, your son's out of control, and your mom just died? You don't have a heart. Well, I have to find some happiness around here. And the whole thing about this scene, and I'm sorry my chair's squeaking, but the whole thing about this scene is Hunter, going on about the fact that one way or another, he'll find out why the hell Victoria's so happy. And I love the fact that she's like, why don't you go downstairs to Dover and pretend you know what you're doing? I know what I'm doing. I know what they're talking about. Fool, you couldn't even find Russia on a map. Get downstairs. Because he's like kind of been out of shape and concerned that Victoria is happy. Because didn't Medea say in one of those plays, if you got a woman you've been treating like trash for a while, and all of a sudden she walking around smiling and singing, it ain't just because of the goodness of the Lord. So I feel like that's why Hunter's a bit, been out of shape. So Bobby and Max are on the road to this new safe house or location that Max knows about, and he gets a phone call from Lily, and Max is like, don't tell her where we're going. Well, hell, I don't even know where we're going. Well, good, answer the phone then. And Lily, is like, basically Bobby was treating Lily how Kyle has been treating Donald since he went back to Lily, in the terms of being cold and unattached. It's like, what do you want? Well, what's up? What's up? I'm just checking in. Yeah, okay. I'm doing all right. Well, are you mad because I didn't come back to the cabin with you? Maybe I should go to the cabin now. Well, you can go back to the cabin if you want to. And I mean, that's literally the entire conversation. So Priscilla calls Diane, but there's no word. She's just now arriving at Nancy and Richard's house. And, Miss Jody comes out there. She's steaming about being cussed out like a dog by Nancy last night. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I actually went back to rewatch the scene, and I don't think Nancy like cursed her out. I think she like said 1 or 2 curse words, but Miss Jody had like, she got called every name but a child of God. And it had to do about the whole Sam and Richard fighting, and Priscilla's like, wait, they were fighting? What were they fighting for? And she goes to the house to see Nancy, and Nancy apologizes, but Miss Jody acting like she butthurt over it. But they'll make up soon enough. Miss Jody is a trip, I'll tell you that much right now. I feel like we all know a Miss Jody, either in our neighborhood, at our church, something along those lines. So, in the kitchen, Priscilla and Nancy are talking for a bit, and obviously she can't tell Nancy specifically what's going on, because Nancy just knows that Sam was mad at Richard because apparently he thought Richard had told Priscilla something about him. But again, White House business, can't tell her what it is. But she did talk about how, yeah, I told Richard who the father of Picky was and everything. And then Priscilla, you know, even though Nancy's like, it'll work out because time heals all wounds, like you and Sam, like, I know you're not telling me what's going on, but I know something's going on just based off how you've been acting lately. Priscilla mentions divorce, it'll be quiet, and Nancy's like, are you sure? She's like, yeah. And that just, I don't know. I know for me personally, if I was married and my wife cheated, I would probably instantly want divorce. But at the end of the day, and maybe it's easier because this is a fictional relationship, but it does feel real because even though this show isn't perfect, I still give Tyler Perry props for how he's written the Sam and Priscilla situation, because honestly, I don't know whose side I'm on, because I'm not saying that Sam was right for cheating, but at the same time, you can understand why he did what he did. Again, I'm not trying to justify cheating at all. I'm just saying I kind of understand, because if you look at the situation, you know, Priscilla has been more concerned with taking care of everyone but her husband. And I mean, you know, they seem like, you know, the dynamic duo in season 1, but when it comes to like sex life, Priscilla just left Sam hanging. I understand being tired and whatnot, but from what we saw, Sam was definitely a good man. But kind of based off what Victoria said when Sam asked about the morning pill, oh, this isn't your first time stepping out on your wife, huh? And I just feel like a lot of fans, when I say I wish Tyler could have written at least one happy couple. I mean, isn't it enough? Priscilla's losing people left and right. Diane, Miss Laura, Jean, and remember, she doesn't even know about Diane yet. She found out about Miss Laura when she went to the hospital and saw the husband. And then, of course, she found out about Jean. Was it on TV? I literally forgot how she found out, but Jean, you know, is dead and whatnot. Wait, or was it because she walked in and saw Greg and Jean's dead bodies on the bed? So in any case, sorry about talking in circles there, but we go over to Hunter and Donald, and you know, Donald's just confirming that, yeah, we got a team going out there to the drone strike area just to confirm everything is you know, taken care of. Don't worry about it, sir. And Hunter, who is just, you know, enamored by the whole thing. Wow, this is like a video game, but it's real life. Can I go? I want to go see. I want to go see. There was a strike on American soil. And Donald's like, sir, I'll see if I can arrange that. And we go over to Hunter making a phone call, even though Donald said he'd do it. And apparently, yeah, he leaves a voicemail to Ellie to call him back and meet with him. So based on the preview for season 2 part 2, it looks like they're going to the crash site together. Now we go over to Sharon and Kareem, and Sharon's look, I know I'm like you all, I'm not the biggest fan of Kareem and Sharon, but based on the making love faces, the faces that Kareem was making, I'm like, damn, Sharon, I wish I was in Kareem's place. Yeah, he's just happy that she's there, but Richard gives a phone call to come over to the White House, and this is just like Priscilla, why don't you just talk with Sam? No, I need to talk with you. Oh, Dale, he's the guy. Yeah, we'll both come down to the White House because you asked us to talk about something about the Rakadusha because Barry hasn't come home. Obviously, Kareem's in his feelings about it, but overall, you know, they'll go over at 4 o'clock when he's on lunch to talk about everything. Priscilla goes to the White House and briefly talks with Alonzo, who, you know, on the DL talks about how Kyle has him involved in this whole Gene situation, but Agent Smith, who was said to have taken the files, didn't take the files. And, you know, again, if Priscilla talked with Sam, but no, I feel like that's going to be the entire stick for most of these episodes. If these people just talk to Sam and exchange information, they could probably figure a lot of this crap out that's going under the radar. But in any case, you know, she's taken aback by the fact that Sam's already at the White House. So you know what that means. Messing around with the First Lady, huh? But then again, Priscilla, you kicked him out of the house. I mean, not to mention you took $25K. How do you... What? Maybe he's working overtime. if you know what I mean. But he needs the money because you just said you're taking everything, so he has to make money somehow. All right, so this is hilarious. This is freaking hilarious here. Sam and Victoria, you know, they have a little cute moment during their run, and I think, and the method I was watching the episode, they were kind of glitches, so I might have missed one or two things. Like when Victoria was on the phone with Sam, is like, and make sure this time it blinked out. I'm going to assume it's like, make sure this time you don't wear a suit. That way, you know, he's not in work attire when they're running, because he's wearing like a comfortable jogging suit. And he basically has a moment where, you know, Victoria's talking about how, you know what, I was just thinking about what happened before. It was such a long time. You said you knew my body and everything. And again, she just uses such colorful vocabulary to describe what it was like having the moment with Sam in the yellow room, right? So then we have Priscilla calling somebody. I don't know who it was though. She was like, hey, things are pretty bad. Thanks. It's been a while since we talked. Some people are speculating it is a family member, but I don't know if it was confirmed who it was. Please let me know if you know. We go back to Richard, who brings water and a towel to Victoria, and, you know, Sam standing there, and he goes back inside, and I think it's to get some tea. Look, just to kind of sum up this scene in one go, Victoria sprung. You know, Sam put it on her so good that, you know, hey, it is what it is. Sam's back to, you know, ma'am, and it's like, oh, we're back to that, huh? Well, I was thinking about what you talking about, replacing you, but no, I can't do that. No, we're going to keep running. We're going to keep doing this. We're going to keep doing that. And she just feels desirable like a woman again, and just wants to thank him for it. So they hug, and then Richard comes out with the cup of tea and just like, what? And she's like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm sweaty. And Richard's like, well, here you go, ma'am. And she takes the cup and goes inside. And then Sam apologizes to Richard. And this, not 2 words, brother. Okay. Fuck you. And then he goes back inside. My gosh. So then we go over to the last scene. Priscilla she literally rolls up on Jason. You know, he's in his room, in his bed, under the sheets, you know, on his laptop chilling. And she's like, look, you said you have something to tell me, right? And basically just say, hey, well, what are you going to give me for it? Little boy, I ain't got time for this crap. Say please, please. So he literally throws off his sheets. You know, he's naked. Touch it. Go ahead and touch it. Priscilla ain't the one. She rolled up in there like Lily did to him in season 1. Like, you know what? I know you might speculate that Jason might kill Priscilla. I don't think so, because of the fact that, remember, this dude doesn't care if his parents die. He's trying to get Alan to kill Hunter, so who's to say he's not setting it up so Priscilla might snap and take out his mom? I could see that happening. But in any case, we're at a situation here where, if you look closely, and I'm not talking about Jason, because Priscilla's just fed up. She's about to leave, and it's like, look, if you ever call me after hours again. And then she leaves, and Jason like, wait, I'm not finished with you. Turns the computer around, and Sam is tearing that pussy up. He is all up in there. And it's just hilarious to me, because if you go back to the scene where Victoria is telling Sam about how amazing it was, how, you know, you knew my body. And I'm like, yo, you make it sound like it's a romantic love novel. But when Jason pulled up the footage, it was like a freaking black porno. So Priscilla is like, bye-bye. You've got what you wanted. Bye. So she goes out the room, and Priscilla standing Victoria standing right there. Hell of an episode. Hell of an episode. I see why people were blowing me up about watching it, because it was really good. Really good. However, I don't really have, and I'm not just saying this because obviously this review is late, but I don't have that much content to do theory videos on. It's kind of like with Sisters. The only real video to do content on is the you know, the nod or backdoor pilot to All the Queen's Men by, what's his name, El Fuego. This episode was pretty straightforward. Even the preview for this week lays it out clear. Not much to say. That's pretty much it. But thanks so much for tuning in, guys. And with that being said, I'll catch you all in the next video.